but we're going to move on to our faculty panel now. So I'm going to get started with business. So I know I have Susan on here to talk.
Hi, good afternoon. Sorry, I was muted there. There's always one in every Zoom call. So welcome. My name is Susan Snyder. I'm a assistant professor in our accounting program here at Central Penn. And I just want to talk a little bit about our accounting and business programs. So our Bachelor of Science degree in accounting and our associate's degree in accounting prepares students for to be successful in the accounting profession, whether it be entry level or whether it be somebody that's already working in the field that just needs to maybe get that degree to advance their career. Some of the things that you're going to study in the accounting program are financial accounting, managerial accounting, income tax, intermediate accounting, as well as some business courses. So there'll be business courses sprinkled in there as well. And as I mentioned earlier, the objective of the accounting program is to really provide students with the knowledge and the skills that they need to start their career or enhance their success in the field of accountancy. And then our business program is really kind of a variety of things you can focus on there. What we do in the business program is prepare our students to become ethical, competent, and innovative graduates in order to meet the demands of the 21st century global business environment. And there's areas of concentration that students can focus on in the business program. So we have our general business program, but in addition, if you're interested in banking and financing, that's an area of concentration. Healthcare administration is another area of concentration. Human resource management, management, or marketing. And these students, take a variety of business classes to help them prepare for a career in the business field. One of the things that students like so much about our business program here is that you do have that ability to concentrate in a specific area. If you have an interest in HR, you can focus in the HR management concentration.
Right, thanks, Susan. That really helps describe a lot of the different programs that your area has.
Yes.
We do have a question though can you describe maybe a recent experience or project that some students have participated in that highlights how we stand out from other colleges?
Sure. So we had some business students in the business seminar class recently participate in a business simulation competition. And in this business simulation competition, students were operating a sports camera and drone business, and they were making real-world decisions regarding the major functional areas of their company, which would include marketing, research and development, HR, operations, and accounting. So the students conducted some in-depth research and intelligence gathering that helped them to make decisions about these various facets of their business given the current market conditions at the time. And I'm happy to say that we had a lot of success. We had 4 teams that finished in the top 25 worldwide in the fall term that they competed. So they weren't only competing against each other, but they were also competing against others in a global scale. It was really an exciting competition. Students had a great time, and they walked away with a lot of really important real-world experience that they can then apply later on in the workplace.
That's really exciting. Thanks for sharing that with us, Susan.
Sure.
All right, I'm going to move on to technology. So I know that Harv is on with us. Let me get you unmuted.
I can unmute.
Here you are.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, so we have a couple questions for you, Harv. What are some projects that students work on in computer information systems or the information technology program?
There's a couple of core areas for each in the associate's program, in the bachelor's program. I mean, everybody's going to get a little networking, everybody's going to get some programming, everybody's going to get some databases. And the programming and the database classes are pretty hands-on. I'm programming, you will write programs. And that's always a unique challenge. Networking is not as much of a hands-on class as some of the others, simply because you can plug the equipment up, but there's really nothing to see when it's working other than the fact that the computers work. But in the programming and the database classes, you do write programs and you do construct databases.
Okay, awesome.
Pretty direct.
What types of equipment do the students learn on here?
Mostly standard PCs. It's more a question of the software and the types of things we're doing. Oddly enough, one of the questions I get is that the technology changes very quickly, and how do we keep up with all of that? And what I always tell people is we are very strong in the fundamentals. The basics are the most important because everything is just a variation off of that. And the basics don't change. Ones and zeros are ones and zeros. Computers work the way they work. Yes, the program that we might use to do the programming in, or the language we program in, might change, but the equipment is still just a basic computer. In the we'll use different software depending on what we're trying to get done.
Right. Can you tell us a little bit about any hands-on learning that the students get to do?
Programming, databases. Again, it's about as hands-on as you can get. I will say, add not about the hands-on, but we have had some very highly successful students come through Central Penn. One of the fun ones are when our students get jobs with the CIA and NSA. So we get a lot of calls from the security people doing background checks. And then we'll also get letters from the agencies saying, hey, this is the CIA and we've hired one of your students. The fun one we get is from the NSA, which says, we're a government agency and we hired one of your students, but we won't tell you who they are, or we won't tell you who we are. It's like, so we know that's NSA.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us about your programs, Harv?
We are very close to our students, and simply because it's such a different type of subject that it's not, if you don't know what you're looking at, it's hard to figure out. So our students end up asking us directly before they go to anybody else. So we see our students for almost everything. They know us by name. I do a lot of collaborator Skype sessions in the evening with students that need help. And it's very cordial, very low key. As I said, it's a very, we get to know our students one-to-one.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us to talk about your program. All right, I'm going to move on to legal studies with Robert Donnelly.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks.
All right, so do you want to tell us some things that are taught in legal studies in the paralegal program?
Yeah, absolutely. Our two programs are really designed to train students for the same profession, which is the paralegal profession. And the paralegal profession basically involves helping lawyers do what they do, which is represent clients and make legal decisions, give legal advice, and represent people in court. So what we teach is law, first of all. We teach contract law, tort law, criminal law, administrative law, just about any kind of law, general category of law that you're going to run into. We include it in our curriculum because it's important that the students understand the law. But we also spend a lot of time teaching skills, researching skills, the ability to go into the law and answer questions for our client, writing skills, legal writing is a very unique animal, and it's extremely high level. So we spend a lot of time having students write. They not only draft legal memos out of legal research, but we also draft complaints to be filed in court, contracts, wills, family law documents, just about any kind of document that you would have to draft as a paralegal. You're going to draft some kind of that document in our program. So it's very hands-on.
Right. I know we mentioned earlier that we have the exciting partnership with Widener. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, generally the Widener program is basically an agreement between Central Penn and Widener Commonwealth School of Law that students can, instead of taking 120 credits here and getting their bachelor's, they take 90 credits here, and then they go to Widener. And as they're taking courses at Widener, they're applying those credits, transferring those credits back into Central Penn to complete their bachelor's program. So what it does is it accelerates the amount of time that they spend getting their bachelor's and law degree. And as was said earlier, the total amount of time is really reduced to get both degrees. Normally, you can't get into law school without a bachelor's degree. This allows you to start law school early. And we've had some really, this is a brand new program. Well, we've had students go to law school out of our program, and they were very, very successful. In fact, we had one student who ended up graduating at the top of her class from Widener. So, you know, our program has proven very effective for students who want to go to law school, and this just makes those two types of curricula, brings them together even more. So we're very excited about it.
Sorry, I was muted.
That's okay.
Thank you. Do you have anything else about your programs that you would like to share with us?
Just that we're constantly, you know, we are both of our programs are approved by the ABA, the American Bar Association. So we have to meet a fairly high standard, both in terms of the courses we offer and the quality of those courses. So I think that you know, our program has a lot to offer any students. They're mainly focused on paralegal, but we are bringing in students who have want to become lawyers as their ultimate career goal, and that is something that, you know, we're really developing a lot of. So either way, if you want to be a paralegal or a lawyer, our program is a really good one.
All right, thank you. I'm going to move on to John to discuss the Criminal Justice and Homeland Security Program.
Hi.
Hi. One of our first questions is, what do you think that our programs here at Central Penn are set apart from others?
I think what really sets our criminal justice program apart, and I've given this a lot of thought over the years since I've been teaching here, really three areas. First of all, it's our faculty, both our full-time and our adjunct faculty. As Kristen Fike had mentioned, we're a career-oriented school. We're preparing our students to go out into the real world. And our full-time faculty has been there. We're practitioners. I have over 35 years of experience as a criminal prosecutor in some of the more complicated areas of prosecutions, organized crime, and public corruption in particular. Professor Goebel, 25 years as an FBI agent, scientifically trained as a geologist, knows evidence gathering and forensics. Professor Morgan knows local law enforcement, 25 plus years as a police officer and corrections officer. So our faculty's experience really sets us apart. I think the other thing is our class sizes. I know all my students. Our class sizes are small. I know my students for their entire term at Central Penn, their entire career, and I know them after. And they're not afraid to come up and talk to me, and we talk about all things. And so the class sizes here are really beneficial to learning. And I think our curriculum, we make sure our courses are current because we've been in the real world with the needs of what these students need to learn. So we put into play courses like cyber investigations because of the advancement of technology. We teach them how to look for and acquire digital evidence. Data mining and predictive analysis is another course. How to use information technology and algorithms to gather data and then to use it, not only to potentially predict crimes, but to predict hotspots and to gather information that will be helpful in criminal justice reform, which is one of the hottest topics out there. So I think those things set us apart.
Okay. Can you describe some hands-on experiences that the students get to participate in during their time here?
Our students get a lot of that because of who we are, who the faculty are. We have exercises in our courses on how to conduct surveillances, interviewing and interrogation. We let our students actually conduct interviews, and we use other students as our witnesses, and we give them scenarios. Courtroom cross-examinations. My students in one of my courses have to actually get up on the witness stand and defend their investigative reports while I cross-examine them. Those kinds of courtroom exercises. Evidence gathering. You might see students walking around campus picking up shell casings and bones that we've placed around. So we have these hands-on evidence gathering, how to create a dead drop, how to look for a dead drop. These are just some of the, and document analysis. These are some of the things that we integrate into our normal curriculum for students to participate in.
All right. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us about the programs?
Yeah, we have a great CJ Club, Criminal Justice. We're called the Night Patrol. We did fundraisers for juvenile justice centers. Brought the K-9 unit in, the local K-9 unit in 2 terms ago for a fundraiser. And we do a lot of field trips. We take our students out to places like the Pennsylvania State Police to watch a class being trained. We take them to corrections facilities to actually see what it's like to be inside a prison. If you're interested in being a corrections officer, we take them to emergency operation centers. And the other thing is we also have a 4-year degree in Homeland Security Management, and we're one of the few schools that have that. So we really do focus on those areas of emergency management and terrorism as well.
All right. Well, thank you so much, John, for that.
You're welcome.
All right. I'm going to move on to Paul to talk about communications. Hi,
How's it
Paul.
going?
You want to talk a little bit about your program?
Well, of course. I am very, very passionate about my program, as all of our faculty are. One of the brightest parts of what we have going on is that we have a corporate communications bachelor's program that's really training our students to become future public relations professionals. One of the best things about our program in particular is that the public relations field is projected to be one of the largest growth fields over the next 10 years. And that's something that we're very proud about. We've actually, over the last couple of years, done a lot to modernize our curriculum. And in fact, we've developed a lot of social media related courses because that's where a lot of the job growth is. So we're training our students to come up with social media strategies for businesses. Several of our alumni have actually gotten into that field or have become their own contractors, if you will, and have become sort of their own agency. We also help train our students to do broadcast. We have a really awesome club called the Nightly News Media Club that has been voted Club of the Year, and myself and Professor Olympi, who is also another of our full-time faculty members, have also been Advisors of the Year. And it's a club not specifically necessarily for our communication students, but many of them do join. It's our student news organization. We also do sports broadcasts, which we're really proud of. We've done baseball, basketball, and soccer. So we teach broadcasting as well. And of course, journalism is an important part of being involved, whether you want to get involved in writing news or whether you want to get involved in public relations. Understanding how to write well is a very important piece of this as well. So we have photography, we have broadcast, we have social media. It's definitely, we provide the students every tool they're going to need to be successful in this field.
Okay. What types of careers or internships do your students usually pursue after graduation?
Well, I'm glad you asked, and that wasn't a question I fed to you either, but that was actually something I did want to talk about. One of the things that I'm very proud of is the hands-on nature, again, that we all have, all of our faculty have, I work directly with my students basically from day one to get a sense of what their future career goals are. And then we start working on placing our students with some of the internship opportunities that not only myself, but the rest of the career services team, including Kristen Fike, have developed. Part of my job is actually going out into the community and developing relationships with different organizations. Recent interns have worked at Penn Live, or we have an intern right now that's working for the Pride of the Susquehanna Riverboat. We've sent people all over, the state. We actually have an agreement with the Philadelphia Phillies that gives us opportunities to do networking with the Philadelphia Phillies and also have potential internships there as well, the Harrisburg Senators. So we've got a lot of opportunity locally, but it really is that when I'm working with these students and giving them hands-on experience and access to the internships that I'm helping to cultivate. So we're also working to get some more hands-on experience outside of internship. We developed something where we're having independent studies. If a student has an opportunity to work in the field, even prior to internship, that we're giving them that opportunity to do that earlier on. So lots of stuff.
Don't you also help with some of the athletics and broadcasting from?
Absolutely. We have some paid positions with the Nightly News Media Club that we have done, again, baseball, men's and women's basketball, and men's and women's soccer. And of course, volleyball. Once we get volleyball going, we're going to be interested in broadcasting that as well. So we've got a lot of opportunity, not only just a great resume builder, but you can make a few dollars and get some good experience getting to call sports, which is one of my passions. And I'm so happy I get to do it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Paul. Is there
Thank you.
anything else you'd like to share with us?
One of the final thing is we really, again, I don't want to just say that it's just my program that does it, because we all do it. But, I really work a lot with career services. And I think Steve Hassinger, who's the dean, and also Kristen will, agree with me here, is one of the key things for me is really getting my students involved with the career services office and helping to bridge that gap between, when you're getting ready to go to internship and find that first career position, and really just giving them and having them be comfortable with that part of student services that's so important to getting that first career position once you graduate. So that's something that I always make sure that my students are highly involved with.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
All right. I'm going to move on to Lucy, who is here representing the medical assisting program.
Hi.
Do you want to talk about some responsibilities of a medical assistant and what to expect in the field?
Sure. Usually this is the one thing that surprises individuals. They don't realize how much medical assistants can actually do. So when you go to the doctors, for example, the healthcare provider that's taking care of you is actually most likely a medical assistant. Some things that we will train you to do is to draw blood. You'll be able to room patients, take vital signs, run different laboratory tests that we teach you to do. And really just you advocate for your patient. You help them to get scheduled with, like if they need to see specialists. And then there's also an administrative side. I know some of the students I teach, they don't necessarily care to draw blood or give injections, but they prefer to do more of the front office. So you have that option too. A lot of our medical assistants that have graduated do both. They do front office and back office. So there's a lot that you can do. There's a lot of responsibility that you have. And like I said, it usually surprises people.
What type of facilities usually hire our medical assistants or phlebotomists?
Yeah, that's one of the questions I always seem to get in like the first clinical class that we have. Some of them coming in aren't sure where they want to work. For medical assisting, it's more ambulatory care, which is the outpatient settings. So that would be your family practices, your specialty offices. They don't necessarily work a whole lot in the hospitals. Some of them do go to work in the ER to be ER techs, but primarily it's in the outpatient setting. As far as our phlebotomy students, most of them have ended up working in the hospital because that's the greatest need for them there. The greatest need is for them to go draw blood on the inpatients and outpatients if they have an outpatient lab there too.
Okay. And can you tell us about some of the the experiences they will get on campus, like in the classroom, the hands-on?
Sure, yeah. The cool thing about our health science programs are they are hands-on. It's hands-on learning. So the students in the classroom, when they're learning to draw blood, yes, they'll learn to draw blood on the fake arm first, but then they will start drawing blood on each other. They will also be doing injections on each other. So that way we can provide them with as much close to real world experience as possible. So when they go in their internship, they've had the actual practice of drawing blood on a human and giving injections on a human or doing EKGs. So.
Okay. And I know we have a new certificate program that we just rolled out on medical billing and coding. Could you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yes, we are excited. We have been working hard on this certificate. It is starting in the winter. So this certificate is to prepare an individual that is looking to get into coding and billing. There is a need for coding and billing out there just due to the high demand of healthcare. So the certificate is set up for 9 months, and it's set up to get you prepared to sit for the certification exam that you need to work as a coder. Some of the plus with working as a billing coder is a lot of the jobs are work from home. You can advance, to get further along. But really it's like a stepping stone to get you started. So we're pretty excited about it.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us about the medical programs here?
Just to kind of echo what everybody else has said, like the one thing I love about teaching here is our class sizes are relatively small. So we really get to know our students and help our students through things. And just, we do a lot of community service. We have a club called Club Med. We bring in outside guest speakers, but just, really provide that community for our students.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Lucy.
Thanks.
All right. And last but not least, we have Dr. Tanish and Dr. Patterson for OTA and PTA. So I know you guys get this question all the time, but I'm going to have you guys each explain your programs because we always get, what's the difference between them? So if Dr. go first?
Sure, I'll go first. As an OTA or an occupational therapy assistant, we work on very functional things. And OTA and PTA are very similar, but we are in there working with your activities of daily living. Can you get yourself dressed? Can you feed yourself? Are you able to get from point A to point B safely? With whatever illness, disability that you may have. So we're working with you to maybe modify activities or adapt activities so that you can still do what's meaningful to you, whether that's activities of daily living, whether it's a leisure activity that you want to participate in. So that's kind of where OT is looking at things. OTs can work in a variety of settings. We can work in schools with early intervention. We can work with geriatric population in hospitals. So we can kind of run the gamut as far as working with the entire lifespan with any of those skills.
And PT is very similar. We can work with people across the entire lifespan, babies to geriatric patients. We also work in a variety of settings. The majority of our graduates and the majority of PTAs are currently working in outpatient facilities, so those freestanding clinics, the Dreyers and CPRSs, and I'm sorry everyone I'm forgetting, there's a whole bunch out there, but when you think of physical therapy, that's usually what you think about. We can work with people all across the gamut too, from following stroke and different neurological conditions to our higher level athletes, trying to get them back to their sports. We do a lot of gross motor activities. We do focus a lot on like range of motion, strengthening, to get people to be able to do what they want to be able to do.
Okay. Can you guys tell us a little bit about the hands-on that your students get in the classroom? I know you guys have great labs here on campus, so if you want to tell the students about that.
Sure. Pretty much all of our classes, especially all of our upper level classes, have a lab component. Which means that we typically lecture about some material and then we get right into the lab and we practice it, do it on ourselves, practice with each other, and then we have internship experiences where you'll go out and actually practice on patients.
Right. And OTA is very similar. All of our higher level classes have lab components to them. So depending on what the subject matter is, if it's a pediatric class, you're getting to see, we'll bring in some kiddos into the lab and work with them and see what that looks like. Or right now we're doing some telehealth visits so that you can visualize that. But they all also have internship opportunities so that you're able to see, you know, in the real world how this classroom activity kind of translates. We do a lot of simulated patient experiences in our labs where myself and the other faculty act as patients with disabilities, so the students are prepared to go out and how to be prepared when treating those specific clients.
Okay. Well, thanks, ladies. Do you have anything else about either one of your programs that you want to share with everybody today? No? All right. We did a great job explaining it, so I appreciate it. All right.